I'm joined here today by the one, the only. It is, of course, Jack Hermansson, coming off that huge win over Kelvin Gastelum at the famous UFC Fight Island. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
Thank you so much, my man. I'm great. Coming off with a win in my back now, so I'm super happy and everything is on point.
Was that like the perfect scenario for you? Go out there, quick submission, less than 2 minutes. I mean, was that the perfect fight for you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can have a victory quick, a finish without damaging yourself, that's the best way, man.
For sure. But you had a very long training camp. I believe you said you were training since February or March. Was it as satisfying that the fight didn't last too long? Or like you said, it's just listen, get the victory, don't get any injuries?
Yeah, that's how it is. It's all about that. So I don't care that it didn't last long. Yeah, the quicker the better.
All right, so I want to talk about the travel a little bit because obviously to get to Fight Island, it was kind of unique. Did you get the nice airplane, the first class, and everything?
Yes, I was super happy with that. Slept the whole way down, so yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, easy trip. Did you have a lot of tests for the COVID? Like, did they put the Q-tips in your nose and stuff like that? Did you get a lot of that?
Yeah, definitely. We tested ourselves like before we traveled. Then we need to be in quarantine in London for 2 days, and then we came to Abu Dhabi. We tested again, new quarantines for 2 days, and then we were tested every second day through the week as well.
And so we know the big unique thing with the island was the time change because there's over there you're in Abu Dhabi time, they're running on U.S. time, but you're in Norwegian European time. How was that time difference for you?
It was a little bit weird. I started to prepare at home to go up early because I was supposed to fight in the morning. So I waked up early at home and tried to change it some time before, and it went well. But when I the day before the fight, I could not sleep, so I was just like
Yeah.
stayed awake. And when I was supposed to go to the arena, I was really tired. But after a good warm up, you started to wake up a little bit, and it was all good.
It's interesting you say that because I know people were worried about the fighters. Like, are they going to be sleeping enough? Are they going to be well rested? Obviously, you go out there, great fight, but did you feel like that affected your performance a little bit? Like, maybe if you were able to sleep, things would have been even better in this case.
No, I don't think so. I felt pretty good there and then. So you never know if it would have been a long fight. It's hard to keep your focus. Let's say that you were the main event and has 5 rounds. That
Yeah.
was pretty tough to keep your focus for 25 minutes, and it might have been a different story in that case. But I felt good in a quick fight. So.
Yeah, right. Very quick fight. What did you do to wake up? You mentioned training. Did you mess around with coffee or anything like that, or do you have to be careful about what you have on fight day?
No, I'm usually staying away from too much caffeine. I do have a caffeine drink with me in my luggage, and I used a couple of mouthfuls of it. So very very little, because if you take a bit large dose of caffeine, I feel like it affects your nerves. You feel a little bit
Yeah.
nervous, and I don't like that feeling. So I try to not drink too much caffeine when I eat.
Of course, that makes a lot of sense because there are a lot of nerves when you guys are in the locker room. How were you feeling before the fight? Like right as you're about to walk out, did you feel good? Did you feel confident, or did you feel those nerves?
I felt the nerves, of course, but it felt like good anyways, because I knew how it feels when it it does not feel good, and it was
Yeah.
definitely a good feeling this time. So a lot of nerves during the week and in the build up for the fight, but on fight night, I definitely managed to collect myself and focus.
So let's talk a little bit about your fight with Kelvin Gastelum. Obviously, we keep mentioning it's this great performance. Tell me a little bit when you're out there during the fight. Did you think like, oh, the plan is to go out there and try to get the submission? Were you going with the flow? What was kind of going through your mind during the fight?
The plan was to, yeah, I was not gonna shoot for a takedown until he was committing hard. because that's the mistake I did in Cannonier fight. Shooting from too far of a distance, and he clipped me. So I didn't want to make the mistake. So I was thinking to keep the fight on a distance and use my reach, my height, and if he overcommits, when I'm gonna take him down and find an opening pretty early for that takedown. But he did a beautiful reversal there with the lateral drop, so that was beautiful.
And the interesting thing is a lot of journalists, everyone was talking about Kelvin Gastelum, saying he might be a little bit too small for middleweight. What did you think as someone who fight him? Like, how did he feel strength wise, size wise? Like, does he feel like a middleweight?
Yeah, I didn't think anything of it because there is some advantages by being smaller, and there is some advantages being the bigger guy. It doesn't necessarily always have to be better to be bigger, because I feel like the biggest guys that I fought, they are not very agile and so on. So I don't see why Gastelum needs to change weight class. It's so weird sometimes when people are criticizing a guy that almost beat the champ. He almost beat him.
Yeah.
It was so close, and it's just why shouldn't that guy? Who do you need to be if not the guy that almost beat the champ to consider to be a great fighter in that weight class? I feel like people are criticizing. Everybody that does not have that belt around their waist, basically. And Kelvin has shown many times that he can beat some of the best guys in the weight class. And I'm not sure that he would be doing better in welterweight. So I totally see him as a legit middleweight.
Yeah, it's very interesting because obviously we saw the fight with Israel, and it was this great contest that he almost won, almost got the knockout. We saw him against Jack Hermansson. Like he's looked good at middleweight, but I guess like you said, if you don't have the belt, then that's when people start criticizing.
Yeah, exactly. And not everybody can be the guy that has the belt. We have to have more
Yeah.
in a weight class. So, start to give people some credits.
For sure. So talk to me about that submission. Obviously, you get the heel hook. Usually we see guys kind of spin out of it, and we see Kelvin start to spin, but at what point did you realize, okay, I got it, he's definitely going to tap?
The point where I felt his knee snap. That's when I knew
Yeah.
that it was over. But he has a stone face, man, because
Yeah.
he didn't almost flinch, And I was just like, when I heard click, and then it's just like,
Ooh.
why did he tap? And then the tap came. So yeah, that's when I knew it was over. But you never know. The guys in the UFC are so tough. So sometimes that needs to happen before a fighter gives up. So.
Yeah, and we did see that with the earlier fight too with Lipsky, where she tore the knee all the way back, and I think she heard like 3 pops or something. So yeah, I guess you guys enjoyed ripping the legs apart on that event.
Yeah, it was like a little bit nasty, but I rather not do it. But if I have to, I have to. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it makes for a great performance. Do you think that people are talking about you enough after this fight? Like your name is mentioned there with the top of the division. Do you feel like people are talking now more about Jack Hermansson?
Yeah, a little bit maybe, but not enough. You know, people need to talk about me even more because I'm going for that gold, man. That's just what it is, and yeah. When I get that belt, people will hopefully recognize me.
For sure. Listen, the big thing after the fight people were saying is, I believe technically, is it true that you're a white belt in jiu-jitsu or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I don't have a belt. I don't train with the gi, so we don't give out belts in our gym to no gi grapplers. They only promote people that trains with the gi, and I'm not one of those guys. So if I'm gonna get that black belt, I need to work my way up like everybody else.
That's crazy. But is that an advantage for you? Because if people are looking up Jack Hermansson's like, oh, white belt, maybe we don't have to worry about it. But at this point, it seems like people need to start worrying about it.
I think so, man. And I have more tricks up my sleeve. People don't know, man. So yeah, if you want to go down there with me, you're welcome.
I feel like every time we talk about you, the big thing is I'm going to surprise people with my ground game. I'm going to surprise it. At what point does this stop being a surprise? Like David Branch, obviously high level black belt. We saw this fight against Gastelum. It can't keep being a surprise, right?
Exactly. It shouldn't be, anyways. But people they believe in their own abilities. I'm sure Kelvin thinks that why shouldn't I be on top on Jack? But yeah, obviously that wasn't a wise choice.
And so the big thing I'm seeing you do a lot of media. I feel like I'm seeing tons of interviews with you. Obviously, we're doing media right now, but are you enjoying the media process? Is it better, after the fight when you've won? Like, how are you enjoying the media?
Yeah, it's all right, man. I feel like this time I don't have any jet lag when I come home now. Usually I'm pretty jet lagged and it can be
Yeah.
rough doing the media when your head isn't quite there. But now I feel energized and I feel very good. And then I'm up for it, man. So I'm trying to do as much media as I can to get my name out there and to get recognition.
For sure, it's a very smart move. But we know with a lot of journalists, not everybody's creative. Sometimes you're going to hear the same question a million times. What's that question? Or when you hear it, it's like, ugh, and then you just give the same answer every time.
No, but especially after a fight, everybody wants you to take you through the fight and so on. So after 100 times, you kind of give give the same answer as well. So same questions, same answers, I guess. But it's all good actually. But I'm trying to think in general. And in general, it's not so much the media, but people. When you meet people, it's always like, when are you gonna fight again?
Oh,
When are
yeah.
you gonna fight again? That's the most common question. When are you fighting? So that's
Oh,
something
yeah.
I get a lot, of course. And but on the other hand, that's a great question because that's it's all about. That's what I want people to crave for. When are you fighting again? I want to see you fight. So as long as I'm getting that question the most, it's all good, man.
Yeah, for sure. It always makes me laugh when I see like on the Instagram, when are you fighting? And it's like, it's fight week. Like I'm fighting now. Like, how do you not know that?
That's a good one. Or like the a week afterwards or something, you're just like, when are you
Oh, yeah.
fighting? But on the other hand, I understand the question like, what's next for you? What do you think is coming next for you? And as I mentioned before, I really hope that I can fight a winner between that matchup this weekend between Robert Whittaker and Darren Till.
Yeah, for sure. The middleweight division's getting very interesting. Here's something that I'm curious about, and I can ask you because you're in that unique position. You go out there and you win a fight really quickly. You don't have time to sweat. Do you still take a shower after the fight? Like, is that something you have to do?
Yeah, I still have to do it, man. Definitely taking a shower when I get back there because the warm up itself, it's pretty like the warm up is you're sweating a lot, so
Yeah.
yeah, you need that shower anyways, and for sure.
All right, there we go. Listen, the division though is very interesting. You mentioned the fight this weekend. People are talking about, Paulo Costa set to fight Israel, or one of these guys going to get the title shots. Do people need to start talking about you for the title shot, or do you feel like maybe you're a fight away? How close are you to being in that conversation?
I'm very close, and people should talk about it. But definitely one more fight before I'm there. And I feel like there is a queue now. Jared is waiting as well. So after Israel and Costa are done, and hopefully Jared gets his shot, then I'm, the winner between me and the winner of Whittaker and Till. That would be the runner-up. That would be perfect.
That would be a great fight. It's kind of complicated when you're going to fight next, though, right? Because we saw you in Abu Dhabi, and that was special for international fighters. I assume you can't travel to the U.S. and fight in the Apex, right?
Yeah, that's true. There's no way. So if there was gonna be another fight this year, probably it has to be in the Fight Island again.
For sure. All right. Well, listen, I'll leave you with this one. Kind of an easy one. We talked about it, but realistically, when do you think we're going to see you again? And officially, who do you want next? Who's that guy that you have to fight next?
I think the next I'm gonna fight is Robert Whittaker, and I'm crossing my fingers for a quick turnaround in Ober.
All right. There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much for the time, Jack. I really appreciate it. Lots of good stuff. Hopefully, we'll see your name out there and people finally start talking about you and giving you that respect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope so.
All
Thank
right,
you,
man.
everybody. Thank you for your support.